everybody. Welcome to truck time here on Knitting Nook. In Dagerville again today. Just hanging out and knitting. Not finished the shawl yet, just taking a break. I keep getting drafts, a big one today on the back of my neck, and I don't want to put my hoodie on because every time I do that, menopause decides I need a hot flash, and then I'm kind of dying. So but I don't always want to be wearing a scarf because like this is too long, and then I got like ends I gotta figure out what I'm doing with. So when I was on Yarnspirations, I do believe, the other night, I'm looking for sweater patterns to knit. I found a pattern for a dicky. Now, for those of you who don't know what a dicky is, because it's pretty much something that isn't used a lot anymore, depending on where you're living, I guess. It was popular back in the 70s. If you watched Big Bang Theory, Howard's character always wore the dicky, and it made him look like he was wearing turtlenecks all the time. So I decided maybe I would try and do that. Maybe see if I can have something that doesn't make me feel like I'm choking around my neck. But I can't seem to find the right size yarn. So what I started wasn't going to be big enough. So what I'm doing here, or what I decided to do, rather than tear out all this here, is I'm winging it. I decided to wing it. Like, whatever, who cares, right? It's for me. And what I've done is I added extra stitches so that I could have do the side pieces, the front piece, and then I'll turn around and make a second piece and do the same thing, and then put it together. But yeah, a dicky is just sort of like a collar with a little bit of a shirt. So or I guess you could say it's kind of like a cowl with a piece on it. You know, it comes down to here. Definitely not summer here in Dagerville anymore. In our corner of Alberta. That wind is rather icy, and I have seen geese, Canadian geese, floating around a couple of times here, which means the birds are thinking about moving south. Some of the trees have already started, the leaves have started to change. We think today was the first day of school in our town, back home. So, yeah, definitely fall. Way cooler at nights. So definitely got that is not good. Yay, arthritis, fibromyalgia. So I will catch those stitches there. Put this down here. Oh, yay! It got caught on the seat. It didn't actually fall down and disappear into the bath cabin of the back seat and underneath type thing. So, oof. Yeah. So just sitting here knitting, hanging out in the truck. I've been up all night. What did I wake up around 10 o'clock last night? I just had to go lay down. That's part of my world, is having times of days here and there where I end up being really, really tired. My hair is growing bangs. I'm not cutting my hair past doing a bit of point trimming as I'm trying to grow it out. But yeah, I can tell I'm tired because the train's just not really sitting on the tracks very well. Okay, sit here and put these stitches back on this needle without losing any. We hit a bump on the way up here, and I did that once already. I had to pick the stitch up. It really kind of sucks when you drop stitches when you're knitting. Ah, crap, I didn't pick that one up properly. There we go. I'm using Bernat Premium. Had some left over from the baby blanket I was crocheting. I need to save just a little bit of it because I have to I want to make a lovey, a beanie lovey to go with. So yeah, some days it's very hard to get comfortable. But yeah, so far this is what I've got. This part, I messed it up a little bit at the bottom, but I don't care, it's for me. And it's not as long because I didn't want it necessarily to fold in half like it showed in the pattern. And then this is where I'm winging, the white is where I'm winging it. So this was cast on 46 stitches, and then started out the pattern with knit 2, purl 2 across, and then the row 2 was purl 2 and knit 2 and then across, and then you do that back and forth to get the ribbing. But yeah, that wasn't going to wrap around my neck, so I either in not fully reading the pattern, I potentially just may have messed things up from the beginning. So, you know, and that happens. And then you just say kind of like, screw it. just screw it. Let's just knit. Let's make something. And have life be good. Because life is good. You know? It really is. Just sort of. And having projects like this is really rather good, keeps you busy. I brought my book to read because I really should be reading, but I'm a little tired and I just feel like knitting, zoning out on the knitting. It was almost 4 o'clock, so to lay down and have a nap, I could do that, but I don't know. Feeling a little restless, so knitting's calming. Yeah. And I figured what I would do is I'd make, because I need this for my neck. Part of me doesn't want to be screwing with a scarf all the time. Although this is not working too bad. It's actually working pretty good. But I'll get this finished and then I'll be starting Christmas stuff. Any crochet, knitting projects, crafting projects. I'll be starting those here pretty quick. Just for make sure I get stuff done. So I end up over project. I end up with too many projects. Foot's going and must be leaning on the wrong nerve. But anyways, yeah, I usually I plan like 100 ton of projects, and then I end up having to drop a bunch of stuff because I don't have enough time. So I would like to start a little bit earlier, because that would be good. So I'm about row 160, between row 155 and 160 on the square bottom shawl, which is actually got more of a point on it than I thought it would with the knitting. It had more of a gradual tapering up instead of so maybe if maybe next time when I go to do that, if I go to do that again, I'll do the increase on every row and see if that makes it go faster, so it's not quite such a point on it. Because I really do like the idea of that shawl being shorter, you know, not being quite so long. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to finish the red yard into that. I have to lay it flat and see where the part that I can spread it out, whether or not I like how wide it is, and whether or not I really want to go any further or not. We just start casting, doing the top edge piece and then cast off, because sometimes that kind of thing sounds like a really, really good idea, and then you get there and it wasn't such a good idea in the first place. And I do have lots of patterns that I want to try, both crochet and knitting, for clothes wise, so it's not like that red will just go back in the bin and sit forever. I do plan on using it up on something. So yeah, this part here, the white part that I'm doing, this white part here, I'm using stocking stitch on it so that the rib is just for the neck part. Bernat Premium yarns with a 5mm US 8 red heart. It happened to be red heart needles. Potentially that's because I think that's what Walmart was selling, or I got these at the dollar store or something. They're metal needles. I prefer metal needles. They don't bend the same as plastic, which is nice. I appreciate that. So yeah, and there you can see the difference where it's stretch this out a little bit for you. You can see where it's smooth right here, and then you get all the ribbing right there. So, you know, what is everybody working on? You know, what are my fellow knitters working on? You know, or if you're crocheting and you happen to popped over here and you like watching my videos here on C is for Grown. Oops. Oh, you can't really see that the way I'm sitting. But yes, here on C is for Grown. What projects are you guys all doing? You know, especially with, you know, it's now fall. Wrapping up summer. For some places it's still kind of summer. Makes it hard to go back to school because, yeah, you want to be outside. Like, my husband really didn't want to come to dialysis today. On a day like today, you're going to be out doing yard work, catching up on that, or if it wasn't so windy, out fishing, you know, that kind of thing. You know, who wants to sit inside a hospital all day, you know, wearing a mask? That's a lot of fun, sit in the hospital, wear a mask. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me in this chit-chatty moment of me hanging out in the truck. Decided to do a video because my tablet dropped Wi-Fi. So, no more YouTube until I can get it back up. So yeah, I like having something on so that, you know, I have noise while I knit. If I wasn't so tired, I'd consider going out and taking pictures, but nature pictures are hard to do when the wind is blowing. You know, just everything's moving too much. I tried yesterday and it was a bit of a fight. And anytime I do it, it's a bit of a fight. But, oh my goodness. So we sit here in the silence. There are no lambs. And the only sound is my voice being carried upon the wind as my knitting needles click against each other. Thank you for joining me here in the knitting nook on a beautiful day with the wind here in Vegreville while my husband does dialysis. So happy knitting, and we'll hang together some later sometime. What a lovely ending, eh? It's kind of like bye. Whoop. Do. Sure, let's wipe out the camera. Anyways, bye for now, and I'll knit with you later.